Hello friends, today we are going to talk about burn down and burn up charts. So these are very basic charts which are used to track and communicate the progress of a project to management or to a team. We are also going to talk about the difference between burn down and burn up chart. We'll have a look at when to use burn down chart or when to prefer burn up chart in your project. So what is burn down chart? A burn down chart shows how much work is remaining to be done in the project. It's a simple graph showing amount of work on the vertical axis and timeline on a horizontal axis. The target is always to hit the graph. Well, this is a very basic burn down chart. On vertical axis, you can see scope variable, and this scope can be represented in story points or in the form of hours. On the horizontal axis, you can see timeline. This timeline can be your number of days or it can be your number of iterations. This is another example of a burn down chart. You must be aware about the horizontal and the vertical axis, which I have discussed in the previous slide. Let's have a look at the blue straight line. This blue straight line represents the ideal task, how a ideal burn down chart should look like. And it can be achieved only by a matured team. And the red line represents the actual amount of work which is remaining. So this chart talks a lot about the progress of a team, and it can also be used to analyze the velocity of a particular team. Now let's talk about the burn-up charts. Burn-up chart represent how much work has been completed, and it also represents the amount of total planned work. In burn-up charts, the curve goes up, whereas in burn-down chart, the line goes down. Well, that's a very basic example of a burn-up chart with timeline showing at a horizontal axis and scope at a vertical axis. And between these two axes, you can see a black solid line, which is the planned work, the amount of work which we have initially planned for the team. You can consider it as a scope for the team. The blue line talks about the amount of actual work the team is burning up on daily basis. So this chart represents a clear relationship between the actual amount of work which team is doing and the planned or a scope which was initially set up for the team. So what is the basic difference between these two tools? At first glance, they both look similar. They both are representing the progress of the team to the management. But the real difference comes into picture when there is a scope change. For example, I'm adding some work to the sprint. So let's see how burn down chart and burn up chart is going to represent this situation. On the left side, you can see a burn down chart and the point where arrow is pointing. Here I have added some more work. More work is added to the sprint, but this shows that team is not at all burning anything. Team is not at all progressing because there is no provision of representing the scope in burn down chart. Whereas on the right side, you can see a burn up chart and the line at the top clearly represents the scope change. Look at the arrow. This arrow says that there is a scope change in the project, and the lower line talks about the amount of work which team is burning. So you can see the clear indication of a scope change in burn up chart. Let's talk about another scenario when we de-scope some work from the sprint. On left side, you can see the burn down chart is not giving me the right picture in this situation. The arrow represents that somebody from the team did a heroic effort and completed everything in one go. No, that's not the right picture. Whereas on the right side, burn up chart, have a look at the arrow. This arrow represents suddenly a work is de-scoped from the project and the team has completed the work. So burn up chart in this situation is giving me the right picture. So when to choose what? When there is a fixed scope, burn down chart is a good option. Also in situations where management want to have a look at status once or twice in a week, burn down chart is right options for you. But in scenario where there is a scope change, then burn up chart will represent the clear picture to the management. And this will also help you to analyze the problem that why work is getting added or why work is getting deleted. I hope the information represented in this video is useful. Please do leave the suggestion or comments below.